So, Bat family, following the news of Robert Pattinson being tapped to play the Batman in Matt Reeves' The Batman 2020 movie, we need to now talk about the possible rumor that's been going around about a new Gotham cinematic universe, or should I just put it like, this actually might not be in the DCEU. So let's break all of this down. How's it going, everyone? Welcome to a brand new DCE, well, is it a DCEU video? This is one of those topical discussion videos, and specifically today we are talking about Matt Reeves' Batman 2020 film, following obviously the news of Robert Pattinson essentially getting the role of Batman, even though that is not 100% confirmed yet officially. We'll get into that as well, kind of, but this whole video is, like, even in that video, and I feel like everyone has been discussing what is exactly going on with Matt Reeves' Batman movie. Is it a prequel? In my video, I discussed how, from the knowledge we already had from Matt Reeves, now this was back in 2017, and I'll pull this reference up a little bit later, and how it was being treated as a prequel, but in the sense that it's so far in the past, it doesn't need to worry about any connections. But now, obviously, since Ben Affleck has left and there's been a whole couple of years of things moving in the DCEU, things may have evidently changed. So the article I'm going over is from WeGotThisCovered.com. Now, I will leave the article link in the description down below, and I'm not sure how mega credible this is. This is a rumor, but I felt like it was a very interesting point of discussion to just raise about the Batman movie anyway, since this is very much so a relevant conversation. Now, this headline is titled, "The Batman May Be the Start of an Entire Gotham Cinematic Universe." Now, naturally, this intrigues me, and it should really intrigue you, especially if you're a Batman fan, you're a DCU fan, and just, it may or may not be true, and if it is, it does make some kind of sense. And I'll get into the whole way it could link into the DC Dark, DC Black label, or Elseworlds films that they might be doing. For example, we've already got one of those on the way, like Joaquin Phoenix's, or should I say Todd Phillips' Joker movie. But anyway, this is the article, guys. But go ahead, if you do go on to enjoy this video and want to see more topical discussion, breakdown videos like this, leave a like on it, as I'd really appreciate that. But starting us off, the good news just keeps rolling in for DCEU fans, or fans of what the cinematic universe could be. We Got This Covered recently learned that instead of typing into Zack Snyder's Caped Crusader, Matt Reeves' The Batman will be more of a standalone film than a prequel. Now we have another scoop, well, that's not mega new, but now we have another scoop that will only affect the hero's backstory, but his future as well. Well, not only affect, I can't read, but come on. According to a source close to We Got This Covered, the Batman could, underline could, be the beginning of a whole Gotham cinematic universe. And depending on how well it does, movies like Nightwing that were rumored to be in some kind of pre-production years ago, and Batgirl could follow. Now that is interesting, just a little segue here for a second. That kind of does make sense because, as I said, those movies were being, tapped into a little bit a while back. But, things do change. Like the DCEU has evidently changed. So they obviously put those on the back burner. And let's just assume this is true for a split second. If this Gotham Cinematic Universe thing is true, it makes sense that those characters, let's not put them in the DCU. If we're building this, let's put them in that. So interesting, but let's carry on. From what we understand, this will be entirely separate from the DCEU and exist as its own thing, kind of like Nolan's Batman trilogy. And as long as Kristen Stewart does not don the Catwoman's leather suit, that burn, this is some pretty exciting stuff. Come on, enough with the Twilight stuff, everyone. Let's leave Robert alone. Leave him alone. So that is their apparent scoop. And what do I think of this? Well, I don't know if they should start necessarily a Gotham Cinematic Universe. If this is not going to be connected to the DCEU, it does make it interesting if I think of it as like what they're doing with the Elseworlds movies, such as The Joker. That's an independent kind of movie. That for all we know, there's not going to be any sequels to it. I don't think they made that film with the intention of a sequel. They're thinking, if this is true, assuming it is true, if we're going to make 3 films about, Robert Pattinson's Batman, why don't we start a cinematic universe instead of just keeping it a standalone one Elseworlds film like the Joker movie? If we're going to do 3, let's maybe build something out of this. Now I get it. I get the approach they're coming from, but I think that this will kind of piss off a lot of fans. But then again, it might please a lot of fans. It did kind of make sense to me, but maybe they're having some issues in like the room or the script where it's seeming very apparent to them that they don't want to keep it as a younger Affleck. Because I was thinking, why not have it as a younger Affleck? It's clearly a very younger Batman in his early 30s. I've always said, because it's so far away, it can be a part of the DCEU. Fans will forgive the fact that this dude's got a different face. Like, sure, some fans are picky, but we're not that picky, I would like to think. So, no major tie-ins to any future DCU films. It's not necessary. So, low-key, just keep it different. But maybe they're running into, in the script process, that Matt Reeves is thinking, I want... the way this is coming about, I want this to be different than maybe what they set up in the initial Snyderverse, and even, how Snyder left. I don't want it to be exactly like Ben Affleck's Batman. For example, maybe this isn't the best example, but Robert Pattinson's Batman really might not kill at all. Not saying that Ben Affleck's Batman in the DCU has always been that way through, the kind of hardship of being years and years as the Caped Crusader. Maybe he just didn't give a F anymore, and it wasn't like snapping people's necks, but, as in BVS, etc., he didn't care about the collateral damage. With, like, blowing up criminals' cars with his, obviously, his Batmobile. Like, he didn't care about the casualties in that. So maybe it's just, as I keep saying, such a different vision that he's thinking, and they've pitched to Warner Brothers, hey, do you mind, since this is so far in the past anyway, if these do really well, can we not just kind of keep, like, maybe even start a Gotham verse? And in my mind, that does sound pretty cool. Like, if you're making 3 Batman films anyway, why not expand upon this? Add Catwoman in, maybe in the second movie. The first movie, we might be having the Penguin. We might be having, I don't know, someone like King Shark or something like that. And if it's received amazingly well, they might promote on this. And just in even more retrospect, guys, like with how fragmented I feel about the DC universe, but also how they've conducted themselves. Now, I'm not posing myself as a hater at all. I loved Shazam. I love Zachary Levi's Shazam. Loved what they did with the film. Loved Aquaman. Loved Wonder Woman. But I'm just saying the damage has been done beforehand. It's like it's a really deep cut. Yes, you put a band-aid on it or whatever you want to call it, but that is going to take quite a while to heal. Even if you're doing everything in your best efforts to make that cut heal, it will still form a goddamn scar. So maybe with one of your most prized characters, and with whatever Matt Reeves is proposing for the movie and what they've been doing behind closed doors that none of us know about, he's thinking, hey, dude, we can make something freaking sick out of this. And also, why keep it connected? Like, it's a bit messy with the Ben Affleck thing in the DCU. Like, clearly nothing's going to be massively collaborative with all those films in the future for a long time. Like, no Justice League-esque stuff for a long-ass time. We're going back in the past. We've got our Batman movie. Let's just do something else different with it. But, I said I'd bring up something else. Now, this is an interview from 2 years ago from Collider. And it's quite literally titled, Is the Batman? It just makes me laugh because, articles about Matt Reeves with the Batman, it's adding years onto it now. Like, we've been talking about this for a long time. It's making me feel old because I remember articles like this. So anyway, August 24th, 2017 is the Batman in the DCEU. Matt Reeves clarifies his comments. Sorry, I've had too much caffeine today if I'm talking a million miles per hour. So yesterday, some old quotes from the Batman director Matt Reeves started circulating the net and folks got themselves in a little bit of a tizzy over whether or not the Batman will be a part of the existing DCU. To be honest, that still exists today. What am I breaking down today? But today, the director hopped on Twitter to clear things up, revealing that the film will indeed be a part of the existing cinematic universe. It just won't focus on cameos, world building, and other universe tie-ins. It will be a Batman movie and a Batman movie alone, which is why I've always recycled that information. It just won't focus on cameos, world building, and other universe tie-ins. That's what I thought. Like, have Robert Pattinson, have a new Batman movie, but it's so far apart in the past. It's in the DCU. It doesn't matter if the actor's face is slightly changed, just keep it loosely connected. They could have done that. And this is what Matt Reeves said. Geez, what did I miss, guys? He joked about on Twitter before explaining. Just to be clear, of course, Batman will be a part of the DC universe. Batman will be Batman. He continued, in my comments from a while back about it not being part of the DCU, I was just talking about the Batman being a story specifically about Batman and not others in a universe. That it wouldn't be filled with cameos. Yeah, just basically what I've been saying. I don't even need to finish that quote from Matt Reeves himself. But things have changed. Things have changed indeed, and maybe if this rumor is true, I'm not going to repeat myself much more, but they're thinking, hey, this is actually, obviously this is 2 years later, they've done a lot more planning, like production into it or whatever, pre-production, and it's just like, hey, this is looking pretty cool. There's nothing massive going on in the DCEU in terms of collaborated, stuff. Why do we need to keep this connected? If this is, why not make our own Nolan-esque kind of approach to it? Since we're doing something like that already with a freaking Elseworlds Joker movie from Todd Phillips, this could be something. So I don't really mind it. I really don't. I'm, as I said, maybe it's because I've got that gaping ass scar on my arm from the DCU. I know that's a bad analogy maybe, but maybe you understand it. At the same time, I'm kind of one of those fans. I still enjoy all the films that are coming out now. They're very big successes. But with a character as important as Batman, I've even had conversations with people where it's got to the point where Batman's been bashed around so much, I feel, in the past several years. It's just like almost, if anything, it is damaging the character that I feel like they don't want to take any risks. And why not with this different approach to Batman? Because it is going to be different. Like Matt Reeves has already come out and said, for once, we are focusing on the world's greatest detective. Correct me if I'm wrong, that hasn't actually been explored much. They've done amazing Batman stuff in movies and in motion, but this is going to have a different approach to The Dark Knight, and I think it looks like they're looking at different avenues, quite literally in terms of the universe element to it all. And I don't really care about that. If it's good, keep it separate. It could have a completely different feel that is even better than the Gotham setup we got. Now, I know some people, I can predict comments right now saying, no, Ben Affleck was the best and he was the definitive Batman. Why not keep this guy loosely connected? I don't know, just listen to everything I just said almost. I'm not saying you have to have my opinion, but objectively, the way things have been done, I don't think it's such a bad idea. But I would leave it to you ultimately, guys. As I said, both links to the articles will be in the description down below. I believe this is a very interesting discussion to have, so leave me your thoughts. Is this such a bad idea? Did you think when you clicked on this video it was a bad idea, but maybe after hearing my thoughts you kind of think, hey, maybe Boba has a point. Maybe I actually don't mind this as much if it's going to be good. As I said, there's rumors about Catwoman maybe being involved. There's just so much potential anyway, with even when this was a part of the DCU initially, with it being in the past, but now completely cutting ties. They could do other things. Not that they were ever going to make references to other characters and have proper world building stuff like that. This is just Batman, guys, and I believe we only need to serve what is best for Batman, and that is probably what Matt Reeves is exactly doing, plus the big cheeses up at the office as well. They know they can't F with this much more. They're not going to take much massive gamble. But other than that, Bat Family, go ahead and like this video, especially if you're enjoying these topical discussion videos. I really dig it. I never used to do them all the time. I did them occasionally, even in the infancy of this channel. But now it's just kind of cool. Sometimes I might read things like this, might have an opinion, but I don't always talk about it. But now it's just a quick video like this, a little bit less formal, just blabbering my thoughts out. It's just kind of easy content to come out, but also sparks mega interesting conversation. But I hope you guys have a lovely rest of your day. Thank you so much for watching. I almost forgot the outro then, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.